Hello, this is Tony Hiller from RealClimateScience.com. This is a very interesting tweet from NOAA yesterday. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere today is comparable to around 4.3 million years ago, when sea level was about 75 feet higher than today. The average temperature was 7 degrees Fahrenheit higher than in pre-industrial times, and large forests occupied parts of the Arctic that are now tundra. What they're saying is that conditions were very different 4.3 million years ago when carbon dioxide levels were about the same. A person with a clear mind would recognize this means you cannot predict the climate based on the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But NOAA is hoping for a very different response. People have been conditioned to associate carbon dioxide with climate. NOAA is hoping that by tweeting this, they're going to scare people into believing we're headed for a climate catastrophe. But there's no information in the tweet to support that idea. An objective interpretation of this tweet would be that carbon dioxide is unrelated to climate. Let's go back in time 6,000 years to the last time when large forests occupied areas of the Arctic which are now tundra. According to The Guardian, carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere have been 280 parts per million for almost 6,000 years. But 6,000 years ago, the Arctic was much warmer, there was less ice, and may have been at times ice-free. The northern coastline of Russia may have been 2.5 to 7 degrees Celsius warmer than at present, and trees grew all the way to the edge of the Arctic Ocean. This 5,000-year-old tree stump still stands right at the edge of the Arctic Ocean in northwest Canada. Conditions similar to what NOAA described in their tweet occurred around 5,000 years ago with carbon dioxide levels much lower than they are now. The evidence shows very clearly that carbon dioxide is not an indicator of climate. Now let's look at their discussion of sea level being 75 feet higher than today. According to NOAA, sea level is rising 1.7 to 1.8 millimeters per year. At that rate, it will take more than 10,000 years for sea level to rise 75 feet. NOAA has been forecasting an increase in the rate of sea level rise for several decades. But it's not happening, as we can see at Lower Manhattan. There has been no increase in the rate of sea level rise, and the actual sea level rise has been below all of NOAA's forecasts. According to NOAA, sea level rise should have started increasing about 25 years ago. But instead of admitting that they are wrong, NOAA simply moved the goalposts. Now they say the increase in the rate of sea level rise will occur sometime after the year 2020. They will keep pushing the goalposts back for as long as they think they can get away with it. The Russian scientist Pavlov trained dogs to drool when they hear a bell ring. Bells and drooling have nothing to do with each other. But Pavlov trained the dogs into an irrational conditioned response. And NOAA is hoping for a similar type of conditioned response. People have been conditioned to associate carbon dioxide with climate. But an objective look at the information in the tweet shows the exact opposite. The information which they presented shows that CO2 and climate are unrelated. They're counting on people being unable to think clearly due to decades of brainwashing about an imaginary link between climate and energy. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on the climate scam for 16 years. You can visit him and his family on the web at RealClimateScience.com.